welcome back. Welcome to like the stream. You know what? It's just 1 more hour. I will just probably just put up a round of Battle Peter, so try to get some boat stuff in and talk. It's a good game to talk, I would say. Agonia can get her relaxation. And like also right now I just don't have that much stuff. I mean, I do want to take a look into Payday 2 soonish again, but I'm still waiting until the engine optimization is fully done. Then probably they will also drop some new stuff, so we'll probably play around then. But yeah, let's have some more boats. Hell yeah, boats. We all like boats. I like boats. Yeah, 40k is just... how should I put it in the best way? It's a fucked universe, and that's why I like it, honestly. Yeah, I think I forgot that Path of Exile has not reached release version yet. I mean, honestly, it's been a while since I played that kind of game. But yeah, 40k is definitely good for horror stories. I mean, in general, I think just the fact that it's a setting where everything sucks is kind of just interesting, you know? I do like that aspect. It's just, oh hey, how would you act in that? How do people act in that? Trying to play Path of Exile, one of the new league starts this weekend. Honestly, never really got into that. I think the only two free-to-play games we ever played a lot were Heroes of the Storm, and oh boy, did we play that a lot. Well, Warframe until they dropped the Battle Pass, and we fucking hated that one. Which is ironic, because I do think, again, there are no other games where we play and we're like, yeah, that Battle Pass is not as horrible. But the one in Warframe was just... whoa, that killed our enjoyment. And I don't know why, like... has still. The whole night stuff. Basically I brought it out and it was like, oh, you need to do missions. Oh, I have the boat! Boat time! Whee! You had to do the missions to even get like what? Nightwave, right. You needed to do the missions to get Umbral something and Umbral Former, and it was cool, and then like it was just such a grind.
Then it turned out it wasn't an event, it was a permanent thing, and we hated it. They should have done it like the rest of the factions.
Yeah, I know what you mean with there's no monetization on Nightwave, but like the thing is, Nightwave is just like kind of shit to grind through, especially in a game where you can like very much decide how fast you go through content.
What do you want to do?
Yeah. And it was like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, which, you know, also kind of sucked in a game where everything was kind of built around 2-degree player expression, actually. And I don't know, we just like, and then they, you know, put stuff into that was also really valuable, so we just like genuinely lost interest I don't think Warframe is bad. It's just that was like probably the most personal thing we ever had in that regard. And I mean,
That's very simple. If the game forces you to do certain content you don't want to do right now, but otherwise you miss out on stuff, you do that.
yeah. Meanwhile, here it's like most other ones that have like weekly missions or so, it's more like, oh yeah, you can do them like a long time and they don't go away, which is also there, but like...
It's mostly also in games that don't have a lot of other things to do.
Yeah.
But we played a lot of Warframe, and sometimes we had weeks where we were just in the plain of Avalon doing things, and sometimes we were just doing, I don't know, grind missions for our clan guild for it. And then Nightwave comes along and said, nah, you're doing this now.
Yeah, that was just like, I think we've just definitely just gutted ourselves off there because of vibes, but like I don't regret it.
It's called player agency.
It's player agency. It's
in a game with a lot of things to do, you're suddenly being told what to do. I don't like that.
Yeah. That sucks. Just plain and simple.
On a timer.
We have secured Charlie. We've neutralized Delta. Objective Charlie is under hostile attack. We have secured objective Alpha.
Did he just think to... I think that person wanted to swim up to us. Also, that a perfect example of the new wave system that, you know, you can actually hide behind some of them.
Objective Delta has fallen to the enemy.
Ah. No! Oh yeah, basically, as you saw, the waves are like a physical object, and like on the outsides of the islands, they are more higher and have more turmoil, and they also create cover and they sync between players. But they're more calmer in between the islands, so it's pretty neat what they did. It's pretty neat, in my opinion. Let's actually get another round of boat. Did Battlefield not have waves before? It depends on the game, honestly, and they didn't have them in this much detail. Like synced waves were a thing in 4. So like they had them in 4, not in 3. But also crucially, in 4, the waves were not
Support is needed on the mark.
how's it called? They were not different between areas of the map. So they were all like unanimously the same everywhere on the map. So 4 had a wave system, but a synced one, which was like one of their big features, which a lot of people don't know. But yeah, the whole waves behaving differently depending on where you are, that is new to 6 actually. Ah, okay, the boats should maybe not be... Why is everyone crashing the helicopters today?
We now control more objectives. Defend all positions.
Whee!
Be advised, Alpha is under attack. Hostiles are attacking Alpha.
Helicopters are half-funded. Did L5 have them? No. Mainly because 5 was also just not really because look, I have no clue. I got into Ace Combat recently and like, oh damn, I can fly in this one, but in Battlefield, I can't fly. I can't fly for shit. I'm just so bad. But then I know people that can actually fly and they're like incredibly good, so it's just ironically flying is a relatively complex system that they have. But yeah. But no, 5 I don't think 5 had waves. Because okay, 5 had similar to 3, they basically had, how's it called? They were more focused on the amphibious part. So, you know, you had like landing boats and shit, but because it was, you know, World War II, this was more like, you know, oh, you drive up to the shore, not really, you know, you fight around the waves. Helicopters in real life too. I mean, yeah, that's a big thing. But no, the thing about like Nightwave was just like, as Agonia said, it was just like you had a game with like full-on player agency, and then for someone that just grinded it that much, it was just suddenly like, oh, if you want to have progress in here, you need to do specific things, and yeah, no, that just kind of sucked. Interestingly, 1 also didn't have it, now that I think about it. 1 actually did not have the wave system. And they literally had, okay, 1 literally had a map that was just, that you had small destroyers and, so that I need to check, but like they had 2 dreadnoughts on the map that you can actually play with. They had a few naval ones, but yeah.
Attention! Enemy attack is underway on Bravo.
Let me actually check 1 second. It's a dreadnought, right? But yeah, they had like 1 map with 2 dreadnoughts in it, which, yeah, but no wave system, ironically.
Be advised, Alpha is under attack.
So yeah, I mean, Heligoland was kind of a crap map, aside from the whole, you have just 2 big ships on it. Everyone wanted more map, but nope.
Hostiles are attacking Alpha.
there are people that can fly helicopters and jets in this game. I'm still kind of impressed by that because it's one of those, in every other game they would have made it simpler, and they already made it simpler. It's just compared to older games, it's just this weird thing that Battlefield just has relatively in-depth jet controls and helicopter controls. Like, to the point that, if you try them for a time, you're like, oh yeah, that fits. And then, you play helicopters in other games and stuff, and you're like, cheap. You know? Which is also probably one of the reasons I never played Ace Combat until now, until I realized, wait, shit, I like that. That's good. It's not hard to fly. Yeah. Basically, yeah. They since yesterday the naval update is out. So you have like water. You have water maps now. Well, one. Wake Island is in a few weeks. I do hope they have a few more in the next seasons because we definitely need a few more maps with boats. Damn it. But like, I wonder what is going to happen with Portal. I kind of wish, honestly, I wish they, the devs should do two things in one season, which would probably be kind of funny to do. One is, another remake of Iwo Jima from Battlefield 5, because honestly, I think Iwo Jima from Battlefield 5 is one of my favorite naval landings, and the 2042 version was genuinely really good, way better than the 5 version. Like, that's impressive. On the other hand, die. You know you can't do a good stream without knifing someone. But they should also, like, in the same season drop, how's it called? A remake of Iwo Jima from 1942. But, in the sense that it's a new map. That are like, okay, this is just a different island in the Pacific or so. And not Iwo Jima. Who the fuck did this? Yeah. Because, like, the thing is, the original Iwo Jima was a good map in 1942 and 1943, but, like, it's a hill. You can, like, kind of easily redo that concept on, like, fictional random islands in the Pacific everywhere. Or, you know, in Nordic Sea or so, somewhere, I don't know. There's no hard system for that.
Attention! Objective Golf has been captured by hostiles.
Keeping engaged thing, it's kind of interesting. I mean, technically now there might be a new free-to-play game that we might be more invested in overarchingly. But yeah, Arc Knights. But I don't want to say this is going to be one because Warframe and Heroes were, oh boy, we put so much time into those.
It's also a different type of game.
Yeah. I still miss...
Warframe has a lot of content, and Heroes you could just play over and over and over again. Arc Knights is more you're there for the story.
Yeah, true. And it's a good one, and it's very gay, and everyone likes Kamini.
I think you're misleading when you say Arc Knights. It's Arc Knights.
Arc Knights Enfield, yes. A female Ant-Man is very cute. And she has lots of girlfriends. But yeah, oh, level 7. I need to have higher level.
The enemy has secured more objectives. Let's strike back.
Got eyes on enemy jet!
We've neutralized Delta. Objective Alpha has been neutralized.
I think, like, what, is there anything to talk about right now?
We have secured more objectives.
Where is everyone? Honestly, it's kind of interesting how this map, like in my opinion, like for being a big one, does flow a bit better in terms of like infantry parts than Dawnwood. So I definitely did a good job in my opinion. But holy shit, the enemy jet pilots know how to fly.
Be advised, Alpha is under attack.
Our forces have neutralized Bravo.
Our troops have lost objective Alpha.
We have secured more objectives.
Charlie is under enemy control. Okay, Bravo is under control. Be advised, enemies are attacking Bravo.
I'm surprised this is not like a capture point for anything.
Secured an advantage. Keep it going. Objective Bravo is under attack.
Attention, we're engaging objective Charlie.
Hostiles are attacking objective Bravo. We initiated our attack on Alpha.
Definitely to have a better
Get to win the fight.
sight on here.
Objective Bravo has fallen to the enemy. Objective Bravo has been secured by hostiles.
Our troops have neutralized objective Charlie.
There's someone here.
Attacking Alpha.
Oh, he was in the car. Fuck.
Need a medic! Are you not support is needed on the marked objective?
I do think the carriers are missing that they want to add later this season, so
Our troops are attacking Alpha.
like, you know, jets spawning from carriers and stuff. It's just it just feels more correct, you know? Ugh. But yeah, I mean, actually, I had a bit of talk about that. It's kind of weird to think about that Empire's Edge and Fire Waters were counted as naval maps, but I guess, I want a bit of a talk about that the whole naval stuff in 6 today. About what they could still add, and it's kind of interesting how should I put it in the best way? The whole thing that I think a lot of people really do not know that much about. Do not know that much about naval stuff. Interestingly. Like, because we're like, oh, hey, can we have, like, what kind of boat can you have in here? Like, you know, assault boats are already, like, very logic because, you know, assault/patrol boats already very logical because, you know, they're pretty small and fast, so if you want to have, like, a multiplayer game, it makes kind of sense, but yeah, I mean, people definitely wanted the fast attack ships. Which would actually be kind of cool, even on this map. They would basically fill the role of the MBT on the water, which is fine. Like, I mean, you could definitely make like an even bigger naval map with them, because like the assault boats are definitely like more a bit of weaker IMVs, so yeah, a bit weaker MBTs would probably fit really well. It is also kind of interesting to then talk like, oh, what kind of boats still exist, and it's like, yeah, boats just used to. It's hard to classify by when it comes to boats. Because, like, we have classifications, and then some countries just swing in and out of classifications as much as they want. Like, for example, there are some countries, I think, that are like, oh, look, we have destroyers, and then people are like, I think it was even Argentina, because it's obviously Argentina, and then people were like, no, Argentina, that's not a destroyer, that is, you say it's a destroyer, but technically that is just a big frigate. Let's be real. And then you have stuff like, oh yeah, our navy only has frigates, and it's like, no, Germany, you have destroyers. It's kind of bonkers to say that's a frigate, even though you could you're like, oh yeah, if you squint, that's a frigate. And if you're wondering, oh, okay, so Germany has one frigate class that technically, nope, we have two. We generally have two classes of frigates that everyone else just kind of agrees are technically destroyers. But I mean, we kind of do, because can I just point out that who has what in terms of military equipment is to a degree interestingly vibes based. Like, like there's a thing when you say, there's this difference between like, oh look, this country only has frigates, and then in reality, yeah, no, we have like 10 destroyers if we're honest. which, you know, actually makes 2 degrees sense for the maritime presence that we have to, that is, like, sensible to cover. But then you also have other stuff like in the, like China, where they're like, no, we're just building a new destroyer. And then everyone saw the destroyer rolling out of the dry dock and was like, China, that's a cruiser. You basically, you made a cruiser. That thing is a bit too big to be a destroyer, even though technically we all like just kind of using destroyers nowadays. And you're like, oh. And, you know, by the way, Yusei did it as well. Like, the Zumwalt class, is it a destroyer already a cruiser? At some point you don't really notice that much anymore, because quite literally ship designations really flattened after World War II. And even during World War II it's like, oh yeah, Germany had cruisers, like heavy cruisers, and then it's like, yeah, but like bordering on battleship. And then some of them made battleships that were fucking huge. And also worthless. Isn't that right, Japan? Isn't it right that you made like the most worthless piece of shit as a boat? And now keep making media about how cool it actually was. And like, look, I'm just sorry. The best World War II battleships were the Iowa class. Was the Bismarck and such battleships? Not really. I think in the context of the time, you could say the Bismarck was outdated in terms of design, but it was a good battleship. I can at least say, please ignore which type of Germans did it, but we still built at least 2 good battleships, but the Iowa class is better. I'm sorry, like, when we talk World War II navies, it's weird to even talk about, like, who had the best navy. It was the USA. They just had the better navy. You'd think it would have been closer, considering how the Japanese actually had a bunch of boats, but nope. USA. And the Japanese were kind of, to put it in the best way, they were kind of, doing this to themselves. Because, like, I cannot actually describe how much Imperial Japan's technology, how much of a joke it actually is to the degree. Like, I think people know the extent of some things, but then not the full context. Like, for example, their standard rifle was okay, but their standard pistol was complete ass. Just horribly bad. Like, a lot of equipment of the Japanese Imperial Army was just horrible. A lot of their boats were pretty good, except for one teeny tiny problem that they had. Oh, by the way, also their planes were all right. The American ones were better. The American planes were better. Duh. And it's also like the main reason why, you know, the Yamato is this much of a joke. I'm so glad they actually nerfed bullet drag, because yeah, I need to actually wait until my bullets hit now. I can't just spam over distance. like, the biggest problem that the Yamato had, like, I mean, okay, aside from the fact that she was a gigantic ship, and there were just genuine supply issues because, you know, they just didn't have enough ammunition to even supply the goddamn thing because, you know, but let's just assume, okay, the Yamato was fully stacked, and could, like, fire out of all barrels, no problem. It would still have died to the planes. I mean, obviously, because, you know, the carriers were missing because they lost 4 of them at Midway, so lol LMAO. But the thing is, the Japanese anti-air sucked. Like, it was horribly bad. It was horribly, horribly, horribly bad and couldn't even reach the American planes. Like, the American, like, document on them when they tested them literally just concluded these things are so ass, you shouldn't worry about them as long as you fly high enough. So for a ship that was basically a flying, like a swimming anti-air platform that could, if this was like good anti-air, fill the sky with lead, the Yamato just did nothing. Because none of those anti-air batteries were even able to reach their targets. It was just bombed out of the sky. Well, it was bombed from the sky and couldn't even fire back. It's hilariously bad. Anyway, big thing about military history, I guess. Like, those are the funny details, you know? It's those, I think until after the war, no one in Japan really noticed that the anti-air was just bad. Which is just another one of those, okay? But again, I will always say fascism keeps sabotaging themselves because you can't just go up and say, hey, one technology we're banking like everything on is just horrible and we need to start over. Can't do that.
Attacking objective Foxtrot. More objectives. Let's rally and counter.
I do think, honestly, a fast attack ship would be a good addition. Like, one per side would be like one hell of a good addition for this map.
I got eyes on enemy vehicle.
And I do hope we get more naval stuff down the line because, well, it would be bad to build all of that just for like 2 maps, you know? There we go.
Armored vehicles cleared for combat.
There we not go. By the way, if you're wondering why, why I'm playing this DMR, I want to get it to level 15 because then it gets an upgrade to be fully automatic.
We now hold more objectives. Keep pushing.
And yay! I like the A as well. I always liked it in previous games, and this would basically be that again. So do. I do hope they just like they do want to have like more guns now that have like one quote-unquote major upgrade change that cost like a lot of points. And I'm down with that. I think they also had like things in there that looked like they'd be doing this for you know, the M4 and the AK, so hopefully that's gonna be not separate guns, but like actually gun upgrades slash conversion kits. I definitely like that. Yeah.
Objective Delta taken by hostiles.
We currently hold more objectives. Our forces are close to taking territory. The enemy have taken more
Hopefully, tomorrow we will also get the rubies though, because then we can actually start doing stuff like Agonia can can build her armor set and her weapons, and she could finally do the key quest, and then I can build my Uragan set.
We now hold more objectives. Take a long line.
What?
Also take a long line.
objective Delta.
Honestly, I kind of like the fact that they have
Defensive support on a marked objective.
I just generally like the progression they have in Portable Third, to be honest. Aside from the whole we farm a ruby and I have it, you don't, desire sensor is real.
The enemy now control more objectives.
It's just the fact that I am really looking forward to like the other fights and the subspecies, and those are gonna be really fun in my opinion. And then we have to soonish we have to fight 2 Xenogryphs. And maybe I'll actually... Wait, what was Xenogryph weak against again? Ice? I don't think we can upgrade that yet, right?
Yes, we can.
We can! Will we do that?
Alright, we now control more objectives. Secure our defenses. We've taken ground. Hotel has been removed. Target all remaining objectives.
Right, we have secured more objectives. Let's hold it. Objective marked. We need you supporting the attack.
Our forces are hitting Delta.
I should stop saying this is Japan.
Hostiles are attacking objective Echo.
But this map is set in the Kingdom. And I think everyone knows what I mean with that. I assume. Hopefully. To be honest, the Ryukyu Kingdom, I think that's the thing about the Ryukyu Kingdom. To a degree, it's one of those stories where they would have been swallowed by someone, no matter what. This is like one of those things in history that would just not last in some shape or form.
Hostiles have taken all objectives. Regroup and get us back into the fight.
Then again, I'm not justifying anything here, like Okinawa and the Ryukyu Kingdom were their own culture, and we should not shove them together with Japan. And also, there's a lot of fucking injustice going on there, and that should be mended. Just saying. It's kind of interesting looking into historic life where there are things that would just happen one way or the other, you know? Like,
Our attack on Echo is underway.
just so you know why I'm talking about the Ryukyu Kingdom like that. Basically, there was already like a gigantic tributary thing about this this island chain. Simply due to the fact that they kind of got legitimization and support from the Ming Dynasty from China, and they kind of turned them into a tributary, but you know, in the typical sense of, you know, Chinese tributaries of like, oh yeah, we're trading with you, but you know, we're also not trading with you because that would mean, you know, we're not the greatest emperors of all time. They did get like a lot of preferential treatment though, because you need to keep in mind this island chain was very important for trade in the region. Like, a lot of ships went through there, and they produced sugar. So, like later they produced a lot of sugar. So, yeah, the Ryukyu Kingdom basically was a tributary of China, but then basically, you know, under Tokugawa Ieyasu, it was like, oh hey, look, those are basically islands off of our coast in up north. So it was like, you should actually be a tributary to me, because like he was basically looking at everything else in Asia and was like, I'm fucking stronger. And also, you know, when he took after he took over Korea, he's probably gonna invade China. That definitely will happen. Just a spoiler warning, the Japanese invasion of Korea went badly. Well, it actually did not went badly in the beginning, because they kind of just rolled up with their samurai armies, and it turned out, yeah, Korea just didn't really have armies on the ground to match the samurai, because, well, the Sengoku Jidai kind of created very well-trained veterans that in land fights just rolled over the Koreans. Then the Korean Navy was like, oh wait, the Japanese have shit boats, and started setting them on fire. So that's why the whole Korea thing just kind of went bad. But you know, the Japanese then basically were like, you know, the Ryukyu kingdoms, they kind of had like control over them because they defeated them pretty easily. So they were like, okay, this is actually part of the lower province, and they kind of controlled them since then, but like also in the sense of, you know, they're still their own kingdom, which then made for the whole, oh hey, look, like, there was once like a whole parade slash presentation of, you know, all the daimyos in the country, and one of them was like, look, one of my vessels is a king. I'm not a king. It's like, oh, the history is weird. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm like,
Need some fucking land here.
the they'd probably be absorbed by China or Japan in some point in time. Simply because, you know, that island chain, the moment you could like you know, control it better from like a, you know, centralized point, it was not worth having a loyal vessel for either of them. That's what I mean with, you know, the Ryukyu Kingdom, like, if they didn't get like any, if they didn't have like any person from outside that would support them, that, you know, couldn't control them directly, they would have just been eaten anyway in history. Like, this is less of, you know, should that have happened? Nope, they're people with like their own unique identity in history and stuff like that. It's just one of those, you know, they were kind of also just situated in a position where one or the other would have happened. There we go.
Close to fully controlling the battlefield. Stop them from holding the majority of objectives.
Welcome to History with Nia, and why everything is just kind of depressing. Like, I mean, that's the reason why the whole, you know, support from outside. That's the reason why Portugal exists, by the way. They kind of, you know, conquered land, and then, you know, survived because they made an alliance with Britain. So every time Spain was like, maybe I want to reunite Iberia, the Portuguese were like, hey, England! So, yeah, the Spanish just stopped. Hey, we won! It's kind of insane still how much Microsoft wants to deflect from the fact that they just killed off like a gigantic part of the gaming industry. Like, I mean, because like, it's one of those things where I would say, oh, it's actually tracking the... Oh, neat. That was a thing that just didn't track in previous seasons, so... Hey, I might actually be able to finish Weapon Expert at some point. That's interesting. Holy shit. No, so... Yeah, it's just kind of funny because, like, I think the big console, I mean, it's once again the whole Nintendo is the one that gets away with it because people cannot shake their idea of the family-friendly company from them. Because, like, it would be kind of bad if you just acknowledge that they all do shit, but, you know, the one that is kind of the worst might be the one with the best PR, and you fell for it. But I mean, right now Microsoft's the worst. Like, the thing is, Microsoft is just the worst because they're like actively destructive and harmful. Sony is bad because they're like pretty fucking stupid and idiotic right now. But you know, at least we can still yell at them. And Nintendo's just cruel. Nintendo's just like, I think it needs to be said how cruel Nintendo is just because they can be. Like, again, they just have they just have debt slaves. Like, this is one of those things that you just need to keep saying, that they have debt slaves. They hate unions. They still try to deflect from the fact that they really, really hate unions. It's a thing, but like Microsoft right now is just, oh my god, I think I've never seen a company try to deflect this much, this hard, at the same time. Because like, oh yeah, we just gutted a fuck ton of things. Okay. Everyone was kind of expecting that to happen, but okay. And then they were like, hey, we're making a new Fallout game. With Obsidian. And like, there's so much I talked in other streams about why that will never work out. But I think the most disgusting part is that it's just like so blatant. Because like, imagine this. If Bethesda was still independent and they announced, hey, we handled the Fallout 4 engine and all of that to Obsidian. They're making a new one. I don't even like. Even if I would say it will probably not be as well written as New Vegas because the writers are gone and quest designers, I'd still be happy that, you know, someone else is making a spin-off of a Bethesda game on basis of the Bethesda tech. I think that's good. But now it's just, Microsoft, do you really want us to just ignore the fact that you still have blood on your hands? I mean, I know the answer is yes, but like, do you really think we are that stupid? Like, that's one of those things, you know? It is so blatant. And now they're like, oh look, you now can play some Xbox games in backwards compatibility, which is, you know, an emulator, on Windows. It's 4 of them, so it's definitely not a lot. And you need to have Windows 11. And you're just like, that's an interesting announcement. Why do you do that after, you know, the whole Fallout announcement just became oh wait, right, I know why you're announcing it now, because the thing is, announcing a new Fallout game with Obsidian at the helm, even though Obsidian apparently, they themselves denied that this is like their main thing right now, that they want to still work on Avowed 2, so, which is why like a lot of people thought Avowed 2 was cancelled, but apparently not, so, oh boy. Like, that is just an announcement they can do simply to get, you know, cookie points, but then you look at the current announcements, like, look, you can now do that. And you're like, oh, why is that the case? Because, oh, turns out it's just something they had lying around and probably didn't even think about, because the guy that was mainly responsible for, you know, getting the tech online to have backwards compatibility of old games on Xbox consoles and on PC for that matter, was fired 2 weeks ago in those layoffs. They fired the whole backwards compatibility team. You know, the guy that was responsible for making it. So, this is quite literally, they killed off the whole program and the guy that made it. And then realized, oh, we still have that around. We can just put that out for, you know, we can just release it now with 4 games to have positive coverage. And I'm just like, At which point, because like, I know companies already, like a bunch of magazines are like, you know, the moment the Fallout news hit, they were like, look, I know, we know what you're doing here. But like, even the fucking, I think it needs to be said that more need to be actively, looking at shit like, oh, what Microsoft is putting out recently, because I do not think there is a single good, announcement there, really. It's all just trying to distract from the fact they just killed a gigantic part of the gaming industry in one fell swoop. And one fell swoop, it's just, whoops, it's dead now, and more will follow. Like, let's not forget that Arcane and Ninja Theory, still big studios to a degree, like hundreds of people, are just in limbo. And that sucks. Because, like, oh, will anyone take them over or anything? Like, id Software has been basically degraded to a support studio, so.
Spot an enemy vehicle!
Attack support is needed on the marked objective.
Spot an enemy vehicle!
Targeting Charlie.
It's just kind of embarrassing, and like, I do wonder what the next one will be. Just,
Objective Delta neutralized.
I don't know, being like, look, Master Chief Collection, or will it be a Call of Duty thing?
Okay, we have secured Charlie. We're tracking an enemy jet south of your location. Support is needed on the marked objective.
I mean, it's just a bit depressing right now in terms of gaming. Like, do I have... I mean, I have games I still play. It's not that I will say gaming will go away, but like, look, there's a reason we're currently working off the backlog. Or, you know, replaying Monster Hunter. Because I don't think, like, many new games are just that interesting or good.
Be advised, enemy attack is underway on Bravo.
It's so depressing. It's just all really depressing. Like, shit's collapsing. And generally just because a few people can't... Like... Look, business margins are tightening. Companies just apparently only now realize that they were, you know, doing this whole thing on easy mode, then have no idea how to actually run the whole business and what it would cost. and just make all the wrong decisions. Because, like, look, even the whole switch to digital, I keep saying there's a reason why all the numbers on digital is so big are exclusively about the USA, and everything about the Europe and everywhere else is just, oh yeah, you know, revenue is mostly digital. Look, people know what you're doing here. You can't really hide the fact that games that are being sold physically in countries where, you know, the general infrastructure for games has not been demolished are still being mainly bought physical. We know that. We literally know that from internal documents that leaked. That most single-player big titles are still sold heavily physical. The thing is just, and that's just probably the part that happened, is RAM prices spiked. Because, like, I can guarantee you, the PlayStation 6 was probably planned with a disk drive. And they might return to it. The thing is just, they're probably thinking about, oh shit, this might come out in the next 2 years or so. They do not know how much RAM prices will recover until then, because, you know, AI companies are just destroying the market. So they're probably just preemptively thinking, look, if we just force everyone into digital, our profit margins will be higher. Which, I get it, they just want to make more money, but it still sucks, and oh boy, it is just blowing back into their faces. Which is also, by the way, I do hate when everyone says, we choose that. No, we did not. I didn't choose things. This is just like... And the fact that people are angry is just not, you know, nostalgia, because, like, let me be clear here. If truly so many people bought digitally, we wouldn't be in this situation. You cannot explain that away just with, you know, people are nostalgic. You can only explain it with, there's a large part of the consumer base in other countries than the USA that still buys physically and is very much pissed about the fact that an option is dying. Because that's what's happening right now. And then you hear Americans who are like, but it's going to happen, it's the future. I don't know when it's going to be the future in for us. Because, like, I know America is just kind of sucks for that matter. Yeah, I know not everyone can go to a store, but, like, a lot of people do. They still do here. It's just, I think, as I said, there is, I said this before today, there is definitely this cultural clash going on right now that a lot of Americans realize, like, especially online Americans realize, wait a second, not everyone switched as I did. Oh shit, did I capitulate too fast? And, like, look, I get why in America it is everywhere, it's digital, because there's no real point. I mean, let's be clear, okay? If you live in car-infested suburban hellholes, like, which is not all of the USA, but a lot of the USA, buying games physically is kind of irrelevant, really. Like, you can just, oh, what do we have here? Whiskey highball, lemon sour, Cassis orange, oolong high, bamboo, Hokkaido Zweigeld. Okay. So I'll put some effort in this. Always love when you can actually read shit on multiplayer maps. It's just neat details. But yeah, it's just, I get it. With, like, good internet, by the way, guess what in Europe is a lot of times the case? Internet isn't that good, and we have good ones here. I can stream, I can download updates in relatively fast time, because updates are not that big, but downloading full games, I hate that, especially the big ones. There's a reason I just like have mainly just one multiplayer game I have permanently installed to play, because imagine if I also had Call of Duty to download. Oh no! Imagine if I have to re-download it. Oh no! That's definitely an overnight thing again. And I just want to point out, we have literally good internet here. And it got better elsewhere. But I grew up on copper wire. They do want to have, how's it called? Optic fiber soonish, but most do not have optic fiber cable. And even then, again, the big thing that made it undesirable is just the fact that like undesirable in America is you would need to drive to a store. If the game isn't being sold somewhere where you're already going regularly or walk past especially regularly, like in a lot of cases in Europe, you're not tempted to buy things physically. But if you then realize, especially in Europe, a lot of people, like the majority of people, live in cities. Cities are walkable, and we still have like a lot of stores that sell games physically where you just walk past. Oh yeah, right. That's why Europe has still a lot of game sales. And by the way, it's the same for Japan. Like, you walk past stores, you don't download. Even if the thing is, and this is like a crucial part, if the store is not a hassle to get to, like you can walk there, you're already walking there due to, just getting groceries and stuff. It becomes a social experience. And that beats everything digitally. I cannot actually overemphasize that point, because like humans are social people. If you have the chance to buy games physically, and it's not, a problem for you to go out of your way to buy them, you do that because you can just take them home when you want to play them, because you're going, you buy them on the way home anyway. Then you put them in. They're installed faster than, having to download them. And then you, and on the way, oh wait, where other people buy that game, you can just talk about that game. Yeah, that's a thing that people do. It's just still a thing here. And I feel that difference in terms of just like social experience and logistical experience is just what divides everything right now. Oh well. I wonder how it will end. I don't know if they will back down, because I think the bigger part is probably in. I think they might. They might just like actually eat the bite in the sour apple and still offer disk drive and everything. Because they know that in Europe and Japan people still buy a lot of stuff physically. Like if you offer a game physically, it's just, I think the more interesting part, and that is probably more important about the whole debate, is just what kind of higher profit margins do they expect? Because keep in mind, a big switch to the towards more of the American market is the fact that the American market adopted digital this much compared to everyone else in the world. Because here you can still buy games used a lot, and they make no money on that. Even then, selling a used game is not as much money as you can get from selling a physical game is not as much money as you can get from a digital game. So, what? No, in digital games you can control more of the margin, and also when you sell a game at the store takes store and supplier still takes a share on that sale, so it's less overall money. And again, resales you get no money, while the store just makes all the money. Meanwhile, digital on the PlayStation Store they get all the money from a game sale, and even more if it's not one of them theirs, because they just get the store share. So yeah, this is why, by the way, the USA is so lucrative right now, because they generally switched to digital sales, and this is just the whole thing that drives this decision. The market is fucked right now. They are probably looking at the PlayStation 6 and realize just getting the thing out, even if they wait another year, because I don't think the PlayStation 5 will stop being sold next year. I know some people expected that it's just thrown around, but they are probably making it. They probably want to start selling the PlayStation 6 at 2028, at best, because again the market is fucked, and they if they can, they might just stretch it out to 2029, because everything is still going pretty well, and they can just ignore progress in terms of a lot of in terms of tech, because it's not that important. The thing is just as I said before, a big thing about the consoles, especially a PlayStation, is that they subsidize it. A thing Nintendo doesn't do, by the way. So, yeah, the Switches will get just more expensive because lol LMAO. Also, by the way, Valve also doesn't do. Valve is just, like, this is why the Steam machine is so expensive, they just are not subsidizing it, or the Steam Deck, they're also not subsidizing it. And then, and on top of that, you have the whole AI crisis. The RAM crisis. But, yeah, the thing is just, Sony is probably looking at the PlayStation 6 and is like, shit, how can we subsidize that? Because they probably do not want to hit $1,000 in terms of price. So, okay. You make it cheap, you cut corners, you maybe land at 800. How do you push it further down? See, there's actually a pretty good example I want to give, and I don't know how much this was true for the PS5 as well, but when the PlayStation 4 came out, there was an interview where they said that they will break even if someone buys a PlayStation 4 and 2 games. And I think that general assumptions are always based around something in that matter. They probably look at what is the average number of games someone bought on the PlayStation 3, and they were like, they had lesser software sales on the PlayStation 3 than on the PlayStation 4, like per person. So it's possible that they probably looked at the PlayStation 5 and were like, okay, the average person buys 3 to 4 games, so maybe we can subsidize them the number higher and just assume if people buy this and this amount of games on average, we break even on selling the console, and everything else is going to be profit. And I think what is probably going to happen right now is that they are looking at those numbers, and especially in Europe, again, especially in Europe and Japan, they're looking at the fact that, as I said, most of their big games that they want to pivot back to are being sold physically still. I want to point out, 80% of sales of God of War Ragnarok in internal documents were physical sales. So yeah, the Sony games are selling very well physically. More than digitally, actually. That's a leaked document, that is hard data, that is fact. That is just a fucking fact that we have to acknowledge. Like everyone who said, well, most people buy digitally. Nope, we know, we have like clear numbers that for most games that are sold physically, it is near equal. Like again, the bigger ones like Call of Duty are more like, I think, 46 to 48%, which is still a lot, to you know, like up to 80% with God of War Ragnarok, you know, the big single player story titles. Now, what they probably look at is just like, okay, what is our profit margin on selling games physically? And they probably just concluded that, oh shit, if we sell, I've already looked at it and we're like, okay, we can't subsidize that much for the console to be attractive if people buy things physically. So, but if everyone bought the game digitally in some form, then, well, then suddenly the profit margin would look better, and we can probably balance around the idea that people might just buy 3 or 4 games digitally and we break even on the console and then, you know, make more profit afterwards. That is the thing they're probably looking at. Just the simple fact that there is an idea of, can we actually afford to have lower profit margins in the case of everything sucks thanks to Gen AI? And look, I'm going to be very snarky here for a second, but I know they had lower sales in general on some games recently. That's a varying amount of reasons, for very varied amount of reasons. Like some games on the PlayStation 5 sold well, but in recent years it dipped, mainly because, you know, the USA and the general crisis happened, so people just have less money and not that much time. So not everyone bought Saros. Not everyone bought Ghost of Yotai. I mean, probably more people bought more Ghost of Yotai than Saros, but also another big thing, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but as much as I believe in the, you know, in the artistic vision of something, and I think Saros is probably a good game in that regard, completely good game. Oh boy, you definitely underestimated the loyalty people have to someone, because Saros just kind of ran into the same problem that Control has right now. Because Control was a new game series with a female protagonist that a lot of people shipped with another girl, and people like that. Like, I'm going to be very clear here. Even if a lot of people do not think about that, and, you know, I know mostly girls and queer people are vocal about it, there is still this thing that Control stood out. It felt different because, you know, the character was different than most protagonists in the game industry. That is a subconscious thing people notice. And Returnal, similarly, hey, it's an adult woman. It's an older woman you play. That is actually pretty unique for, you know, an action roguelike bullet hell game. And that's cool. That's nice. Now, let's just roll to Saros, and it's a guy. Black protagonist, sure, you can point that out, but look, if the spiritual sequel from one studio that had like one breakout hit is looking more generic to people than their previous game, and again, I'm not saying that Saros is a bad game, it's just that people looked at Returnal and were like, this looks different. And Saros is, oh, it's the same gameplay, maybe refined, and there's like also critique about that, but that's a different topic, but oh, it's a guy. Maybe. I'm not that interested in that, like, and like, I know a lot of people don't actively think that, but subconsciously, for a majority of people, Saros probably just looked more generic. Also the color palette was red and yellow, like the sun. Again, I get why it does that with the themes. It's the it's like he's literally going to the city from the king in yellow. Oh, but it's not like, you know, this kind of color scheme was already used a lot, so that's why the game sold less. And that's the thing. That's the thing where I'm like, a lot of people just kind of don't know how to do business, because if you know how to do business, you'd keep now a lot of studios around, even if it meant it would cut into your profits, because holy shit, you need people to even to make games, to work on games and help out on games. And also you might just find a new way out, because the problem is, that's also a thing why I say, they look at how much they can subsidize the PlayStation 6, they look at how to increase their profit margins, and their conclusion is one conclusion, but also, what happens if less people buy the games? Because I can tell you, there are a lot of games I and a lot of other people, and like a majority of people that buy them physically, will probably not buy the moment they're not available like that anymore. Because you need to keep in mind, there are a bunch of games, even on PC, that only actually make their way into people's libraries when bundled. Like, I'm not even kidding here. The reason Humble Bundle is like a pretty vital part of the gaming on PC sphere, and there would be so many problems if that actually went away that people probably don't realize, is the fact that people joke about, oh yeah, I have this game from a bundle, but you know, you have it now, it was cheap, might as well try it out, and then you maybe find another game. These bundles do not barely exist for consoles, and that will not change with the PlayStation 6, that will not change with the next Xbox, that will not change with the next Switch, because the reality is, on PC, you can like end up with games like Back 4 Blood or something that you probably would not buy otherwise, play it, and then turn into someone who's like, wait, shit, that game is actually good. We should have a group to play through it. That shit is good? Have you tried it even? Because no. Because you probably see it on sale, but even on sale there will be no real driving force if not some nagging idiot is in the back of your brain telling you should maybe invest those $10 into the game. I will play it with you, because that's how digital is. There will no, ironically, less impulse purchases than, oh hey wait, this physical game is like really cheap right now and then you just have it around and just try out at any time. That's why physical is still a thing here. Also, physical is always reduced. You don't need to have a sale. Sales are great if you want to know what you buy. They are not great to just spend money well. Yeah, they're great for games you already know you want to buy, which is why I buy like maybe 3 or 4 games per sale, small ones even, but you will never really make the big investments if outside of that. You will not buy things spontaneously. Stores? Like, where you think Europe still has them and people go there because, again, they're a social experience. They combine all of these things that are abstracted on a digital market like the PC, because you go into the store, you're like, oh, that game looks interesting, and then some idiot might be there that just talks to you why Ace Combat is a series you should maybe invest in. Hi, I might be that idiot if you ever run into a store where I am. Because that's the thing. I had like so many instances where like parents wanted to buy games and just a conversation happened between people about what would be good games to invest in, what to watch out for. Because like, for example, there was like I genuinely had that once where a parent wanted to buy, was like about to buy a Sonic game for their child because they were like, oh, it's a Sonic racing game, it's Sonic. And I just like, I know they were like, oh, can we even have that? Like, I just literally did the simple question that others people that were like, yeah, it's a good game. I was like, do you even have a PlayStation 3? And they looked at me like, no, like it doesn't run on on anything else than a PlayStation 3. And they were like, oh, is there an equivalent on like the PlayStation 4 because they had that? You know, backwards compatibility doesn't exist. I was like, yeah, sure, it's over there. You don't get that. I mean, okay, then digitally just kind of leaves that out. But again, people come back to places where there is a social component. And digital will just kill that. Like,
Also sold the family Kingdom Hearts.
yes, I did. I just want to have a fun game for my children. Wow, here's a collection of old games with great action combat and Disney characters. It looks fine. Those kids now have Kingdom Hearts autism. I'm proud of myself. I don't know if they have it, but like, I would assume they have. Kingdom Hearts after all. But yeah, like, yeah. Where do you get that? Parents want like a child-friendly game for their kids growing up, and you can be like, look, it has great action combat, it's not a lie, and good RPG systems, it's not a lie, and it looks great and plays fantastically, absolutely not a lie, and Disney characters, classic Disney characters that you still know from growing up. That's good for children, right? They were like, oh yeah, I know Hercules, that was a good movie. They know Donald and Goofy. How can that be like anything bad? It's not bad, it's just, again, do not wonder yourself if your child starts talking about Heartless. And the Unversed. And the Keyblade. It has Leonard Nimoy in it. That's quality, right? Anyway, yeah. Have a good one. I've already talked too much. Tomorrow, probably more Breathless Killing. Maybe we can get actually the full 3 hours then.
I hope so.
Yes. See you around. Bye.